There is a lot of stuff going on right now, and many people are stressed out and worried about their investments. But it might surprise you to know that here at my financial planning firm, even when the media is telling everyone how bad things are, we hardly ever get calls from our clients worried about what's going on. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you. Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Matthew and I'm a chartered financial planner based here in the UK. So let me give you the 6 tips, if you like, that we drill into our clients so that they can relax about their investments. And then there's one extra thing to consider that might work for you as well. Tip number 1 is to ignore the media. We hammer this point home from day one of someone becoming a client. There is absolutely no point in letting the media dictate your views on the world, and even worse, how you should react with your investments. You know as well as I do that the media is simply there to win and then retain your eyeballs. And this means that they will make a story when none exists, and they will always look for the negative spin. Bad news sells. Good news is just for the fun little piece at the end of the half hour when everybody is already getting out of their chair to put the kettle on. Now, if you're investing, as I always recommend here, on a global multi-asset basis, that is, holding lots of different kinds of things all around the world, well, that strategy has been proven over decades. Plenty of people will tell you that this time it's different, we're in a new epoch, the old ways are dead, but I just don't buy it. I think that as long as humans are buying and selling stuff to and from each other, there's always going to be a stock market, companies will always make profits. Yes, those markets will go up and down, as they always have done. Sensible, calm investors will hold their nerve and ride it out. So please, just ignore the news. All it does is damage your mental health and make you think about doing stupid things with your investments. So, what's the point? Tip number 2 is to ignore everyone else. Your financial situation is unique. Nobody has precisely the same combination of inflows and outgoings, pensions and investment mix, goals and aspirations. So why do we compare ourselves with what others are doing? Why do we take advice from friends and family who don't actually know our situation very well at all? Part of the problem is FOMO, the fear of missing out. A friend has an investment tip that's a sure thing, and we're tempted to make a change to our portfolio to incorporate it. A workmate makes one decision with her pension, and we think that maybe we should follow suit. But who cares what anybody else thinks, or what anybody else does? Leave them to their financial life, and you live yours. That way, you can stay focused, calm, and keep your head on straight. Mark Twain said, "Comparison is the death of joy." Food for thought. Tip number 3, don't check your balances. If you are investing for decades, why do you care how your portfolio has performed today, or this week, or even this quarter? That's a little bit like setting off on a 500-mile journey in a car and then stopping every 5 miles to check the tire pressures and coolant levels. If you have your investment approach set up right from the start, then it should serve you perfectly well through pretty much anything life and the markets can throw at you. Yeah, you do need to review things, but only at major transition points and then perhaps formally once a year. But checking your investment balances every day is more likely to lead to anxiety and poor decision making. So just don't do it. If you absolutely must check your balances, then make sure it's not more frequently than monthly and aim to see if you can get it to quarterly. I'm telling you, it's absolutely liberating. Are you feeling the stress start to fall away yet? If so, then do me a big favor and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It really does help me out, and it costs you nothing except a little bit of finger muscle energy. So thank you for that. Tip number 4 is to set a review schedule. And I mentioned just now that an annual review schedule makes sense. Any more frequently is really unnecessary for long-term index tracking investors. You could set your review date for the same date every year, or at least the same month. J.L. Collins, who's the legendary author of a brilliant book called The Simple Path to Wealth, does his financial review every year on his wife's birthday. Not sure how she feels about that. But this is your opportunity to rebalance your portfolio if it has got out of whack, to check your life insurance and other protection levels, to look forward and think about what items of expenditure might be coming into view. It should take you maybe 1 or 2 hours a year at most, once everything is set up initially. And if something does happen in between times, like a health, relationship, or work event, then you can have an ad hoc review, of course. But having a formal time and method of review means that you don't have to think about things too much in between times. And that's great for helping you be calm and considered about your investments. By the way, there's a couple of videos linked in the description about what your annual review should look like. Tip number 5 for calm investing is to simplify and automate. It's much easier to review things once a year if your investments are simple and largely automated. Having 6 different pension pots and 4 investment accounts just makes no sense to me. In an ideal world, you'd have 1 pension, 1 ISA and a savings account. Plus, if you've got some spare money, maybe you'd have a general investment account as well. It's just not always possible to simplify to quite that degree, but we should definitely aspire to it, in my view. Similarly, you just don't need 15 or 50 different funds inside your pension or your ISA. Fewer than 5, and for most of us, just 1 or 2 global multi-asset funds will do the job perfectly well. Anything you can do to automate will help you as well. Can you set your portfolio to rebalance automatically once a year? Can you set your contribution levels to increase each year without you having to do anything? Success with investments is a real balance between automation and being intentional. So we should review the automations as part of our annual review, but the more actual work we can set to be done without our input, the better. Tip number 6, don't overthink or second guess your decisions. Are you the kind of person who makes a decision and then continually rethinks it for weeks afterwards? Or do you do a load of thinking beforehand and then once the job is done, you just forget all about it? Well, the latter folks definitely have the edge when it comes to being calm about their investments. Though taken to the nth degree, too much thinking before actually making a decision can lead to inertia and nothing actually getting done. It's very easy to overthink your finances, but most of us, this should be fairly simple. The really big decisions happen around the big life transitions, and especially in the run-up to retirement. That's why most of our clients here at my practice are around the retirement life stage. Second guessing a decision you've already made is just pointless. It's done. And very few financial decisions are absolutely final and reversible. So chances are that you can always pivot later on if it makes sense to do so. To be a calm investor, we need to own our decisions and live with the consequences of them. Okay, we've covered a bunch of things that contribute towards a calm view of our financial situation, but maybe you're thinking that I'm asking too much of you. It's all very well to tell you not to overthink your decisions, not to check your investment balances, and to automate as much as you can, but what if you're just wired to worry? Well, this is where delegating to a professional advisor can be worth the fees that you'll pay to do so. The biggest value that I give to my clients in really difficult times is to help them stay in their seats and not to panic. That way, they can see their plans through to fruition and not get derailed by short-term worries, which often leads to bad investment decisions. So yeah, look, you can do everything that I can do for you. You can do it yourself. This whole channel is dedicated to helping you do that. And yet more people than ever are getting in touch to work with us here. And there's a link to how to get in touch in the description, by the way. But I have tons of extremely competent and capable people as clients who have just decided that for them, it's worth the money to have someone else think about this stuff for them, so that they don't have to. We then obviously formally review everything with them once a year, just like I'm suggesting you do, and we're on hand to answer any questions in between times. We handle the investing, the tax planning, the organisation, and they pay us to do that so they can just relax. And maybe for you, it might make sense to do the same. So I know it's easy for me to say, right? But if you have enough money to be able to invest, then you're already in great financial shape. So you probably don't need to worry that much. You can find a way to be calm about your investments, whether you're a newbie or you're a veteran investor. So remember the points we've covered today. If you're tempted to get anxious or you find yourself spending too much time thinking about your portfolio, calm investors are successful investors. Okay, folks, I hope it was useful for you. If it was, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.